So nowadays, usually whenever we want to watch a show or a movie, our first instinct will be to check Netflix or whatever other streaming subscription there is to see if they have the thing we want to watch, which, by the way, is kind of funny to me because shit like VHSs was something I first used whenever I wanted to watch something and then throw somewhat of a tantrum when I couldn't find a VHS for Beyblade, but was stuck with stuff like Dora the Explorer and how my mom would be slightly concerned whenever I would be shouting at the TV whenever Dora asked where something was. And still to this day, it is frustrating on how dense Dora was, but whatever. Usually we will find it on something or the other, or else we'll just end up finding it on some pirated website, which is something I never did, but because, pirating is bad, kind of. But yeah, you can always find it anywhere because it was always readily available on whatever streaming site, but I don't think that the same can be said for animes. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because usually whenever I start any anime, I always check shit like Netflix, Prime Video, or whatever because it's just easier that way and I'm paying for those anyway, so might as well make my money's worth. Well, actually make my brother's money's worth. Yeah, that sounds about right. I would never pay for anything. But 8 times out of 10, I would not be able to find it on any streaming website. And yes, I do check stuff like Crunchyroll and Funimation, but they don't always have it either, and I can't be paying the prices that Google Play Store have them for. Like, imagine the amount of money you would have to spend on Naruto Shippuden just because Netflix did not decide to just release the second half of the show, even though it's been done airing years ago. And so has the dub, so I don't understand why they just cannot update it. But no, it's fine. Netflix, just don't update it. It's completely fine. Just fine, yeah. So I live in Canada, so our options for streaming anime is very limited compared to the US. Like, the stuff that has anime is obviously Crunchyroll, Netflix, Prime Video, Funimation, and I think that's about it. And whatever anime there is on those platforms are the only part you will get. Like, you will not be getting another season or anything like that, so don't expect it to be there. Like, take Attack on Titan for example. That aired back in 2013 for the first time, which is season 1, and it's been on Netflix for that long, but it has never been updated again. Since then, there's been 4 seasons out, and if you guess include season 3 part 1 and part 2 individually, but either way, this shit has never been updated at this point, and I don't think it'll ever be updated. But they can update shit like Riverdale weekly, but not Attack on Titan. This is why there's so much piracy in anime, is because it's not as readily available on platforms so you can just watch anime on, and also because people just don't like paying for shit. I think these platforms like Netflix took time to really focus on animes, then there would be a possibility of second seasons for some animes. With that, people would be watching these animes more, whereas a lot of these animes rely on sales like Blu-rays and whatnot. Like, we're in a time where no one wants to buy physical discs anymore, where they can just go online and find it. The same thing can be said for games. I don't remember the last time I bought a physical disc for a game. Okay, for example, an anime that came out back in winter 2021 was Bottom Tier Character Tomozaki. Pretty good anime, but obviously got overshadowed by stuff like Attack on Titan Season 4, Horimiya, Wonder Egg Priority, and from that point, it's already lost the chance of a second season since the popularity isn't there, and now it mainly relies on whatever few people that have watched it to buy the Blu-rays and whatnot. Let's say Netflix were to buy this anime, then there's a chance of a second season since they would have the money for it and they wouldn't have to rely on viewers to buy their stuff, which is actually the situation for a lot of animes that aren't even available to get another season. I feel that if it's on Netflix or whatever popular streaming site, then it would get the traction it needs for an additional season. While you do see Netflix making original Netflix animes, but I think they should also try getting more animes for the international market, because everyone's first instinct is to go on Netflix and check if it's there since it's so convenient if it's on there. I feel like that's why something like A Silent Voice got more popular, is because it was on Netflix and everyone was just watching it. I was curious to see what animes were on the Japan Netflix, and it was way more better than I expected. Like, literally every anime you could think of was there, but obviously it's in Japan, so they have the rights to put it on there. Also, don't try to use the Japan Netflix. Almost all the animes don't have an English sub. Like, very few do, like the very popular ones from what I saw, but that's about it. Also, I'm guessing it kind of sucks for anyone who is a foreigner in Japan and doesn't speak Japanese and is trying to watch anime on Netflix. So I think in that perspective, you could see that even people in Japan don't get to enjoy it as much because it doesn't have the English sub. But obviously, if you're going to go to Japan, you do want to learn the language. I think that if more streaming platforms were to get more rights for animes, I think it would do well. I mean, look at the TV show industry in general. I feel there's less piracy now since most shows are on a streaming website and don't have to bother themselves themselves on going on an illegal website and having to watch their show while there's an ad for single women in their 40s around your area. But for now, I think that's a very far-fetched dream, but I do think it will end up happening at some point where animes will be more on stuff like Netflix. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Peace.